beast mode performance, and compliments. I'm about to give you the best of both worlds. Let's get it. What's going on YouTube? It's Darren, the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. On this channel, we talk about both men's fragrances as well as men's fashion. So if you love hearing about fragrance related content as well as fashion, then you may enjoy the content on this channel. Just makes sense. So if you don't mind, click the subscribe button and make sure as well you click that bell icon to ensure you get notified anytime I upload new content on the channel. So guys, you heard me on the intro, man, the best of both worlds. If you're a guy, and I hear this all the time, you're looking for that fragrance that's going to give you great performance and it's going to pull in some compliments. Well, in my experiences, I have 10 fragrances on this list that's going to do just that. Again, it's the best of both worlds. It's fragrances that, in my experience, have gotten me compliments. And the great thing about it, it lasts pretty much all day long. So that's the best of both worlds. You get something that gets noticed by people and gets compliments, and it's going to be around for most of the day. So if that sounds like your kind of fragrance, then you know the routine, man. Keep it locked right here. Let's get it. All right, guys, we're back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. I forgot to do this, man. A little bit of housekeeping real quick before we jump into the list. First of all, of course, I'm enjoying some coffee, as always. And two quick orders of business. First, guys, I am a part of SCENTXPLORE this year. SCENTXPLORE, this was the brainchild of none other than Max Forte. Max is a fragrance reviewer that I have a lot of respect for. I remember just getting started in being a fragrance reviewer. I might have had 2,000 subscribers. Reached out to Max, do a tag. He openly accepted it. And honestly, once you kind of get into this thing for a while, you kind of see that certain people just aren't cool like that. So I got a lot of respect for Max's knowledge in fragrances, as well as, you know, just being a cool person in this community. So I happily accepted an invitation to be a part of SCENTXPLORE this year. Guys, I'll have my personal link down below. Guys, go ahead and sign up. There's going to be a lot of great things going on with SCENTXPLORE this year, which is being held on December 4th. Of course, because of COVID, it is a virtual event. So make sure that you click on that link below and go ahead and purchase your tickets, because there's going to be a lot of giveaways. There's going to be discussions, panel discussions with fragrance reviewers, influencers, master perfumers. So it's a chance to really engage with the fragrance community. And again, your boy is going to be a part of the festivities this year. So I'm going to leave my link down below, and very soon later this week I'm going to be doing a dedicated video to really give you all the details on SCENTXPLORE. But this is something that you want to be a part of. This is your chance to really interact with some of your favorite master perfumers, some of your favorite fragrance brands, creative directors, again, influencers, the whole nine. Is going to be an amazing event. So again, click that link down below and sign up and get your ticket today for SCENTXPLORE. All right, guys, the first fragrance up on the list today, well, actually, this is an honorable mention. This one comes from the house of Versace, and this is Versace Eros Flame. Versace Eros Flame. And the reason this is an honorable mention and not in the top 10 for this list, is because it does give great performance, but I wouldn't necessarily put it in the beast mode category. One of the things that I do like about it was the fact that it was a little bit tamed down from the original Versace Eros. And I really like that, because to me, honestly, the original DNA of Versace Eros, although very popular, definitely a great clubbing scent. It was just a little bit too much for me, honestly. The vanilla mint combination in that one, I don't know, something about it again just was a little bit too much. But this one is not quite as loud, and I really like that. But it still gives you at least 7 hours. Gives me at least 7 hours of performance, which again, that's a little bit more than average. I think the average fragrance gives between that 4 to 6 hour time frame as far as overall performance. So anything past that to me starts to get into that good performance. And again, 7 solid hours of this. It projects well, but again, some of the ones on this, the other fragrances on this list, really perform a little bit better, but gets a lot of compliments and it gives good performance. So an honorable mention goes to this one right here from the house of Versace, Versace Eros Flame. All right, guys, now the top 10 are in no particular order, but the first fragrance that I want to talk about on this list is a newer fragrance, but listen, it's already making waves. It's already getting a lot of compliments, and on my skin, it gives great performance. This one is Dior Sauvage Elixir. Dior Sauvage Elixir, the more spicier version of the original Dior Sauvage. I was one of the first people to do, probably the first person to do a first impressions on this fragrance. I told you the sales associate sold it to me a little bit early, so I had my hands on it at the end of July before anybody else really had a chance to get their hands on it, and I did a first impressions. Now, I've been wearing this fragrance and I really have been getting great responses. I'm not really surprised because it's Dior Sauvage. I mean, you know, and that original Dior Sauvage DNA is embedded somewhere deep down in this fragrance, underneath all of the spices, primarily the cinnamon and the nutmeg. But man, listen, I get 8 to 9 hours of performance on my skin. And again, it's been getting me a lot of compliments. Every time I've worn it so far, I've gotten a compliment. So if you're looking for something with great performance and it's gonna give you compliments, this is one you need to put in your collection from the house of Christian Dior. This is Dior Sauvage Elixir. All right, guys, the next fragrance up on this list, one of my favorites to turn to in the fall and winter, especially the winter time, from the house of Prada. This is Prada Homme Intense. Prada Homme Intense, and just like the original Prada Homme, you get a beautiful iris in the opening, and this thing lasts all day long on my skin. But on the dry down, man, you get a really beautiful kind of chocolatey, almost patchouli, mixed with some nice warm amber, a little bit of creaminess in there, comes with sandalwood. Oh man, and as this thing dries down, the iris kind of stays with it. You get that powdery vibe for me pretty much the full way through the wearing of this fragrance. But man, this stuff is good when it really starts to dry down and you get all those warmer notes. The leather, the patchouli, the amber really starts to kick in on this. And again, this is one for me that gives me that 8+ hours of performance. This thing lasts all day long on my skin. So if you're looking for performance and compliments, again, that's what the list is about. Check this one out from the house of Prada. This is Prada Homme Intense. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, this one comes from the replica line of Maison Margella, and this one is Jazz Club. Jazz Club, and to me, this is everything that a nice night out at a jazz club should be. Primarily booze and tobacco, a little bit of vanilla on the base of this to sweeten it up. There's something in here that gives off a coconut vibe. I can't remember if that's in it or not. Probably not. But there's something in here that kind of gives me a vibe of coconut as well. But whatever it is, it mixes well with the other notes in the fragrance. But man, another one that gets a lot of compliments. And of course, if you worn this, you probably would agree with me. Great performance. This by the fireplace, as a matter of fact, a lot of fragrances from this particular house give me great performance. So, you know, it makes a list like this, compliments as well as performance. Check this one out from Maison Margella. This one is called Jazz Club. All right, guys, the next fragrance up on this list, compliments, Beastmode Performance. This one comes from the house of Chanel, and this is the original Chanel Egoiste. Created in the year of 1990 by none other than Jacques Polch. This is a classic fragrance. Again, it reminds me a little bit of, I've told you this before, Musk Ravageur, although of course this one was created first. But man, this is such a masculine, manly fragrance. And when you're dressed like I'm dressed today with a nice suit, a shirt, maybe you don't have to wear a tie, but you're dressed in a suit, man, just a sophisticated, classy scent. I think that's the best time to rock something like this. It has musk in it, cinnamon, some tobacco as well. Just a classy fragrance. And again, women really respond to this one well. They compliment this one a lot when I wear it. And this gives me great performance. Well done fragrance from Chanel. Of course, you know, most of their fragrances are very well done. And this one is no exception. But if you're talking about one that gives performance and compliments, this is another one you need to look into from the house of Chanel. This is Egoiste. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, this one comes from the house of Parfums de Marly, and this is one of my favorites from the house. This one is called Carlisle. Carlisle. This thing is so good in the fall and winter. You get that kind of the same vibe you get from a fragrance like, think about like Black Phantom from Killian. Just an amazing fragrance. It opens up with that beautiful combination of green apple and nutmeg. The apple note in this will be a little bit reminiscent to what you will get from Leighton. But on the dry down, I've talked about these notes before with other fragrances on this list. You get vanilla and patchouli. Vanilla, patchouli, and tonka bean. And those are actually a combination of notes that I see oftentimes in a lot of fragrances that really perform well on my skin. Patchouli, vanilla, tonka bean are some notes that really do well on my skin. All three of those notes you'll find in the base of this fragrance as it dries down. It's really, really creamy and sweet and a little bit smoky. I love this fragrance right here. And again, you already know the theme of the list. It gets both performance and compliments on my skin. So check it out. If you've never done so, this is a good one as well. From Parfums de Marly, this one is called Carlisle. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, I love this stuff. From the House of Creed, this one is called Royal Oud. Royal Oud. Now, when I first got into fragrances, this wasn't like in my top 5 creeds, but now it is definitely in my top 5. What an amazing fragrance this is. And although the name says Royal Oud, of course there is oud in this fragrance. It's not without oud, but oud is really not the primary note to my nose. It's really more about the spices. This is a very spicy and earthy kind of fragrance. Just the perfect balance and blend of spices and kind of these earthy, more woody kind of accords in this. Cedarwood, Angelica is in this as well. Some musk on the dry down. The opening is really a little bit more citrusy, a little bit of spice. It's kind of a spicy, citrusy opening. There's pink pepper in this, I think. There's a lemon note in the opening of this as well. Just an amazing fragrance. And again, I have to keep saying this, but you know what the theme of the list is, man. This one gets a lot of compliments. A lot of compliments. I was very, very surprised by that because of when I first smelled it, that scent DNA to me in my mind wouldn't really pull a lot of compliments. But man, I'm telling you, it really does. Leaves a nice sillage, performs well, projects, and again, it smells amazing. So check this one out, man. If you never put your nose on it, from the House of Creed, this is called Royal Oud. All right, guys, now the next fragrance on the list, this fragrance came out in the year of 2020, which was a weird year in fragrances for me. Could have been just the pandemic, but it was just a weird year altogether. But this one did really well once I really started wearing it. From the House of Paco Rabanne, this is 1 Million Parfum. 1 Million Parfum, and I was out of town in Miami when I actually picked up this bottle, and this is a huge bottle. This is the, 6.7 ounce bottle, so 6.8, 200 ml. So I will have this for the rest of my life. And I was really surprised, man. I didn't really know what to make of this fragrance when I first got it because although it did smell good to me, there's a lot going on here. It's got like this kind of coconut vibe in here. It has a very prominent tuberose note, which I'm not the hugest fan. I do like it more now, but I wasn't the hugest fan of tuberose at one time, but it's a very prominent tuberose note. It's salty. There's some ambergris in here. Leather, a lot going on here, but at the end of the day, this thing gets a lot of compliments. I mean, a lot. And also, of course, I get great performance on my skin. I get about an 8.5 hours of performance out of this stuff. So listen, if you're looking for compliments, something that smells good, something that's going to perform as well, check this one out. And right now, this one isn't going for, it's not that expensive. You can find this for around that $60, $70 price point. So check it out, man. Again, from the House of Paco Rabanne, this is 1 Million Parfum. All right, guys, the next fragrance up on this list, I'm not even going to talk about it a lot because I talk about it a lot on the channel already. But man, it has to make a list like this. My most complimented fragrance is right here from Frederic Malle, Portrait of a Lady. And I talk about this fragrance a lot on this channel for good reason. It is my favorite scent of all time. Well, definitely in the top 3 for sure. And again, rose patchouli is very, very to me a masculine rose, and that's why I think it's so appropriate for both men and women to wear it. Of course, rose itself, women is oftentimes associated with women wearing fragrances and note of rose, but I just did a video on my top 10 rose fragrances in my collection, and of course this is one of my absolute favorites. But guys, you can definitely get away with wearing this, and in my time of wearing fragrances, I've told you guys, this is my most complimented fragrance in one day. I got 7 compliments in one day. True story, wearing this fragrance right here. And again, not to mention the fact it's a Frederic Malle fragrance, and just like most fragrances from Frederic Malle, it performs amazingly on my skin. I get 8+ hours of performance no matter what season I wear this in. You guys know that seasons can kind of alter the way a fragrance wears on your skin, and that's why some people kind of debate about when you should or should not wear a fragrance, but I will tell you the temperature and the weather and circumstances in which you wear a fragrance does play a role in a factor in how it comes off of your skin, how well it performs, etc. But in all seasons, pretty much I've tried this and it works as far as performance. So my favorite fragrance, one of my favorites from the house of Frederic Malle, Portrait of a Man or of a Lady. You know what I mean. All right, guys, the next fragrance on this list, this one comes from the house of Novitus, and this is called Viva More. Viva More. I've done a full review of this fragrance, and man, listen, compliment machine. Compliment machine has got an vintage vibe, a Baccarat Rouge vibe, mixed in one fragrance. Need I say more? And I get about that 8-hour mark of performance on my skin. So man, it performs great. It leaves an amazing sillage, great projection, performance monster, beast mode performing. Check this one out from the house of Novitus if you haven't. If it's in stock, I don't know if it's in stock or not, but usually it's not in stock. But man, check this one out if you can from the house of Novitus. Again, this is called Viva More. All right, guys, and last but not least on this list of my top 10 fragrances in my collection that give beast mode performance as well as compliments from the house of Giorgio Armani. This one is called Armani Code Profumo. Armani Code Profumo. Now, this is a fragrance for some reason. It was on my wish list for a long time. It just took me a while to get this. I don't know why, but I did pick this fragrance up earlier this year, and let me tell you, I was not disappointed. I would see this fragrance oftentimes on a lot of top 10 lists for the fall and winter. Hint, this may be on my winter list this year, but man, this stuff is an absolutely amazing fragrance. It performs well on my skin, and again, it's one of those fragrances that gets compliments. Just like I mentioned with a lot of other fragrances on this list, guess what's on the dry down? Tonka bean and leather. So that combination just really, really works, man. It gives great performance, and it gives off this vibe of kind of sophistication. So if you like a fragrance that's sophisticated but still has that, a little bit of that playful kind of sweetness in it, this is one that you need to take a look at, because it's going to give you great performance, and people are going to notice you when you wear this in the way of compliments. So check it out, man, from the house of Giorgio Armani. This is called Armani Code Profumo. All right, guys, that's it. That's my time, man. I hope you enjoyed this list of fragrances today, as I gave you 10 fragrances that give great beast mode performance, and it gives compliments as well. As always, I appreciate your time and your attention to watching these videos. You guys don't have to watch me, but you do, man. And sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely appreciate that. Now, don't forget, if you don't mind, to take a few moments to make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you share these videos out to some other folks that you think could use this information or may even find it entertaining. I don't know. They may find me entertaining. You never know. Because I'm your guy, man. I'm the bow tie fragrance guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, guys, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.